The rain hammered the motel roof like fists on a coffin lid, each drop a accusation I couldn't outrun. "You owe me, boy." John's voice slithered through the thin walls, thick with bourbon and that fake southern drawl he'd picked up from too many bad westerns. I clutched the doorknob, heart slamming against my ribs, knowing that twisting it would crack open a door to hell, or maybe, in some twisted mercy, to something like heaven. I was 18 that summer, the kind of age where the world feels like it's teetering on the edge of exploding into color or just crumbling to ash. Chicago's suburbs weren't kind to kids like me. Half-orphaned, half-buried under the weight of a stepfather who treated the house like his personal kingdom of regrets. Mom had split 5 years back, chasing some dream of reinvention in LA that never panned out, leaving me with John and his endless parade of bar tabs and bad decisions. He wasn't blood, thank God, but he'd married into the mess when I was 13, bringing his grease monkey hands and his Bible-thumping hypocrisy to our sagging split level in Elmwood Park. John worked the third shift at the auto plant, wrenching engines until his knuckles bled, then drowning the pain in six-packs at O'Malley's, the dive where all the divorced dads swapped war stories about ex-wives and the Eagles' glory days. He was built like a linebacker gone to seed, broad shoulders, beer guts straining his flannel shirts, eyes that could pin you like a butterfly to corkboard. Folks said he was a good man deep down, but deep down was where the monsters lived in our house. He'd scream scriptures at me for the smallest sins, skipping chores, bringing home a C in algebra, like I was the devil's own project. But the real sin, the one he sniffed out like a bloodhound, my secrets, the way I'd linger too long on the shirtless runners in Grant Park, or how my stomach flipped at the wrong kind of glance in the locker room at school. I kept my head down, worked odd jobs, bagging groceries at the Jewelosco, mowing lawns in the cul-de-sacs where the McMansions sprouted like fake Christmas trees, saved every penny for community college, dreaming of escaping to the city proper, where the lights never dimmed and maybe, just maybe, a guy like me could breathe without apology. But dreams don't pay John's debts. That night in July, the air thick as regret, he stumbled in at dawn, reeking of stale smoke and something sharper, desperation. "Alex," he barked from the kitchen, voice echoing off the linoleum like a gunshot. I was nursing coffee at the Formica table, pretending to study for my GED, but really just scrolling Tumblr on my cracked phone, stealing glimpses of lives that weren't mine. "Sit your ass down." He slammed a fist on the counter, making the salt shaker jump. His eyes were bloodshot, wild. "We got a problem." I knew better than to ask. Problems with John were always mine to inherit. Turned out, he'd bet big on a Bears game, some fool's errand against the Packers, and lost. Not just lost, but lost the rent money, the truck payment, everything we'd scraped together since Mom's alimony checks dried up. $1,500, he muttered, pacing like a caged bear. And Tommy's boys ain't patient. Tommy was his bookie, a weaselly guy from the neighborhood with a gold tooth and a pit bull named Lucifer. But John waved him off. "Nah, I got a better angle. Nathan's comin' over tonight. Old army buddy. Owes me from Nam." Nathan. I'd heard the name in John's drunken yarns, Nathan Hale, the golden boy who'd shipped out with him in '68. Come back a hero with a Purple Heart and a law degree. Now he was some hotshot real estate guy in the Gold Coast, flipping condos to yuppies while John flipped burgers. "He's good for it," John said, but his grin was all teeth, no warmth. "And you're gonna help me collect." I didn't get it at first. Thought maybe he'd have me shine his boots or something pathetic. But as the day dragged on, the heat wave turning our AC-less house into a sweatbox, he laid it out plain over lukewarm hot dogs in the backyard, cicadas screaming like alarms. "Nathan's particular," John said, avoiding my eyes, poking at the grill ash with a stick. "Like some young, fresh. You do this, we square up. No more Tommy breathing down my neck." My fork clattered to the plate. The world tilted, the chain link fence blurring into gray. "What the fuck, John? You want me to?" "Watch your mouth." He lunged, grabbing my collar, breath hot and sour. "It's one night. Motel on Cicero. Clean sheets, $50 for your pocket. You ain't no virgin to the world's ugly, Alex." Mama didn't raise no snowflake. But Mama had raised a fighter, or at least that's what I told myself in the mirror later, splashing water on my face to wash away the nausea. I saw the boy staring back, lanky with Dad's sharp jaw and Mom's hazel eyes, hair that curled defiant at the ends. Gay, probably, though I'd never said it aloud, not even to the empty room where I'd jerk off to fantasies of faceless men who didn't demand payment first. This wasn't fantasy. This was John pimping me out like I was yesterday's scrap metal. Dusk fell heavy, the sky bruising purple. John drove us in his rattling Ford, radio blasting Springsteen to drown out the silence. I sat shotgun, knees jammed against the dash, staring at the passing strip malls, Walgreens, Taco Bell, the adult bookstore with its buzzing sign. "It'll be quick," he muttered, lighting a Marlboro. "Nathan's a gentleman." Army code. The motel was a squat brick eyesore called the Blue Heron Inn, neon heron flickering like a bad omen. Room 12, ground floor, gravel crunching under tires. John killed the engine, turned to me with that fake paternal squint. "Do this right, kid. For family." Then he was out, rapping on the door before I could bolt. Nathan answered in chinos and a crisp button-down. Sleeves rolled to elbows showing forearms roped with muscle. Faint scars like lightning strikes. Mid-40s, maybe, but time had been kind. Tall, broad without the paunch, dark hair silvering at the temples. Blue eyes that locked on mine like they were reading a map only he could see. "Johnny," he said, clapping John's shoulder, voice smooth as aged whiskey. That faint Texas lilt cutting through the humidity. "You look like hell." They bullshitted in the doorway, John's laugh forced, Nathan's easy. I hovered on the threshold, invisible until Nathan's gaze slid over, lingering. "This the boy?" He extended a hand, grip firm, calloused. "Alex, right?" John's told me. Stories. Stories. God, what poison had John poured? We settled in the room. Sagging queen bed with a chenille spread. TV bolted to the wall tuned to some infomercial. Air conditioner humming futile against the stickiness. John cracked beers from the mini-fridge, passing one to Nathan, none to me. "Kid's sober as a nun," he joked, but his eyes dared me to contradict. Talk turned to debts quick, like ripping off a Band-Aid. Nathan leaned back in the vinyl chair, nursing his bottle. 1,500, Johnny? That's a chunk. Times are tight, even for me. John's face tightened, jaw clenching like he was chewing gravel. "We go back. You said you'd have my 6. Nathan's eyes flicked to me again, appraising, not cruel but calculating. The room shrank, the rain starting up outside like applause for the inevitable. "All right," he said finally, setting the bottle down with a soft clink. "But favors ain't free. Not anymore." John's nod was jerky, and then he was on his feet, clapping my shoulder hard enough to bruise. "Alex hears, eager to help. Ain't you, son?" The door clicked shut behind him 5 minutes later, the sound echoing like a judge's gavel. Just us. Nathan and me, the bed between us like a battlefield. He didn't pounce, didn't leer, just sat there, watching the rain sheet the window. "You don't have to do this," he said quietly after an eternity. "I can write the check. Send Johnny packing." But his voice cracked on John's name, something raw underneath the polish. I swallowed, throat dry as dust. "He'll kill me if I don't." Lie half true, John's fists had marked me before. But murder? Maybe not. But the fear was real, coiled in my gut like a snake. Nathan stood, slow, unbuttoning his shirt with deliberate care, revealing a chest dusted silver, dog tags glinting under the lamp. "Then let's make it mean something," he murmured, stepping close. His hand on my cheek was warm, thumb tracing my jaw, and for the first time, terror twisted into something electric, forbidden. His lips met mine, soft, searching, and the world cracked open. That night wasn't force, not really. John's shadow loomed, but Nathan's touch was a revelation. Hands mapping me like sacred ground. Whispers in the dark that peeled back layers I'd buried deep. "Beautiful," he breathed against my neck, as rain drummed a frantic rhythm. We moved together, clumsy at first, Then urgent, body speaking what words couldn't. Scars on his thigh from shrapnel, stories he let slip between gasps. Jungles, loss, the men he'd loved and lost to silence. I confessed fragments, the ache of hiding, the pull toward him even now, betrayal be damned. Dawn crept in gray, finding us tangled in sheets, his arm heavy across my waist. He stirred, kissed my temple. This changes things, Alex. But as he dressed, phone buzzing with John's impatient texts, reality crashed back. I'll handle him. Meet me tomorrow? Coffee on Michigan Avenue. Neutral ground. I nodded, numb, pulling on jeans that smelled of smoke and sin. The door swung open to John lounging against the truck, cigarette dangling. His eyes raked me, satisfied, then narrowed at the check Nathan slipped me. Double the debt. Good boy, John grunted, starting the engine. But in the rear view, Nathan's gaze held mine, a promise amid the exhaust. Back home, the house felt smaller, poisoned. I showered scalding, scrubbing until skin pinked, but his scent clung. Cedar cologne, salt sweat. John crashed on the couch, snoring victory, oblivious to the fracture he'd carved in me. That night, I lay awake, phone glowing with Nathan's number, thumb hovering. One text. Tomorrow? His reply, can't wait. The coffee shop was a hipster haven. Exposed brick, pour-overs steaming, indie folk crooning from speakers. Nathan waited in a corner booth, out of place in his tailored blazer amid the beards and tattoos, but his smile lit the dim like sunrise over Lake Michigan. We talked for hours, him probing gentle about school, dreams, me spilling guarded truths about John, the loneliness that gnawed like termites. You're more than his pawn, Nathan said, fingers brushing mine across the table, electric. Come stay with me. Gold Coast penthouse. Space for two. It was madness, a fairy tale scripted by hormones and hurt. But when he kissed me there, quick and fierce behind the alley dumpster, tasting of espresso and hope, I whispered yes. That week blurred. Stolen afternoons in his sleek condo overlooking the river, skyline glittering like approval. Nathan cooked. Steaks rare, salads crisp. Taught me to waltz in the living room to Coltrane records, his laugh booming when I stepped on his toes. Nights were fire. Slow explorations, his voice husky reciting Whitman in bed, body arching under mine like waves claiming shore. I see the real you, he'd murmur, tracing tattoos I'd yet to get. And it's stunning. But John sniffed trouble. Texts turned texts to calls, bellowing demands for overtime shifts. I dodged, lied, said I was crashing at a buddy's. Nathan pushed papers, emancipation forms, college apps, a job lead at his firm. Build your own life, Alex. Not his. The crack came Friday, heat lightning forking the sky. John cornered me in the garage, toolbox clanging like chains. Where the hell you been? Smellin' like cologne and lies. His fist connected with my jaw, stars bursting. I tasted blood, swung wild, grazed his cheek. He roared, pinning me to the workbench, tools scattering. Ungrateful little fag. The word landed like acid. I bucked, knee to his gut, broke free, ran. Blocks blurred, lungs burning, until I collapsed on a bus bench, dialing Nathan. Come get me. Now. He did, tires screeching in the downpour. But as we peeled out, John's truck loomed in the mirror, headlights feral. He followed the ping, Nathan cursed, flooring it toward the Dan Ryan. Sirens wailed distant. Cops? Back up? The chase twisted through expressway veins. Rain sheeting windshields, my heart a drum solo. We ditched at a warehouse district, ducking into shadows slick with oil. John's voice echoed from the lot. Alex, you traitorous shit. Nathan pulled me close, breath ragged. I love you, he said, first time, raw as exposed wire. I clung, kissing him desperate, the world narrowing to us against the storm. But love's a fragile thing in the crosshairs. John found us, kicked in the side door, face twisted demonic. You think you can steal my boy? He lunged at Nathan, fists flying. I shoved between, took the blow meant for him, rib cracking like dry wood. Nathan roared, tackling John, the fight a blur of grunts and blood. Cops swarmed 10 minutes later, neighbors' calls finally paying off. John cuffed, spitting venom. He's mine, my blood, but I wasn't, never had been. In the ER, stitches pulling my lip, Nathan held my hand, thumbs stroking knuckles. We're done running, he vowed. Lawyers tomorrow, restraining order, the works. Summer waned, leaves turning gold like alchemical grace. John pled out assault threats, got probation, a court-ordered AA chip he probably pawned. I moved in with Nathan, the penthouse a sanctuary of leather couches and lake views, but ghosts lingered in the corners. Therapy sessions unpacked the baggage. John's own buried pains, Vietnam's echo, the homophobia he'd weaponized because he couldn't face his own. He loved you in his broken way, my counselor said, but forgiveness was a steep climb. Nathan and I built slow. Brunches at Wildberry, walks along the Mag Mile hand in hidden hand, until one crisp October dawn. He knelt by the balcony railing, ring glinting, simple platinum, engraved forever changed. Marry me, Alex. Not to fix, but to fly. Tears blurred the skyline. Yes, I choked, pulling him up into a kiss that tasted a future. Winter clamped down on Chicago like a vice, the wind off the lake slicing through coats like they were paper. Our wedding was small city hall, just us, Nathan's sister from Austin as witness, her hugging me fierce like the brother I'd never had. No family from my side, John's shadow too long, but Nathan's vows rang true. I take you, Alex, scars and all, to build a life where love isn't a debt. Mine were simpler. You saved me. Now let's save each other. The penthouse became home, walls filling with photos. Us at Wrigley, grinning under ivy. A candid of me laughing at his terrible golf swing in Lincoln Park. But change isn't linear. It zigzags, trips you in the dark. Nights, I'd wake sweating, John's bellows echoing, convinced the door would burst open. Nathan held me then, murmuring stories of his own ghosts. Buddies lost in the Tet Offensive, the first man he'd kissed under monsoon rain, only to bury him weeks later in a shallow grave. We carry them, he'd say, but they don't carry us. Work steadied me. Nathan pulled strings for an internship at his firm, Hale Properties, filing deeds, shadowing closings. The office was glass and steel, a far cry from Elmwood's grit, filled with sharp women in power suits and guys who fist-bumped over craft IPAs. I thrived, numbers clicking like puzzle pieces, but whispers followed. Johnny's kid? The one from the motel mess. Scandal dies slow in tight circles. First real test came New Year's. Nathan's firm gala. Black tie at the Palmer House. Chandeliers dripping light like honey. I fidgeted in my rented tux, bow tie choking, but he adjusted it gentle, eyes proud. You look like a dream, babe. The room swirled, suits schmoozing, champagne flutes clinking, jazz trio sultry under velvet drapes. We danced close, his hand low on my back, world fading to our rhythm. Then, across the ballroom, a ghost, John, gaunt in ill-fitting cummerbund, nursing a ginger ale like it burned. Probation allowed incidental contact. But this? Stalking. His eyes locked on us, narrowing at our joined hands. Nathan tensed, steering me toward the bar. Ignore him. Security's looped in. But John cornered us by the coat check, breath mints masking the whiskey underneath. Alex. Voice low, almost paternal, but laced with venom. Heard you're shacked up. Playing house. His gaze raked Nathan. You poached my boy, Hale. Army don't forget debts. Nathan stepped forward, calm as Lake Michigan flat. We're done, John. Walk away. But John's hand shot out, grabbing my arm. Bruise blooming instant under his fingers. Come home. This ain't you. The shove was instinct. I broke free, heart hammering. Guests gasped, phones slice-snapping. Security materialized, two burly guys in earpieces, hauling John toward the exit. He thrashed, roaring, Fairy, both of ya, burnin' in hell. The doors swallowed him, but the echo lingered, a stain on the marble. We left early, taxi sloshing through slush. Nathan's jaw was steel, but in the lobby he cracked, tears hot on my neck as we rode up. I should have ended it cleaner, protected you better. I cupped his face, thumbs wiping salt. You did. We did. Together. Spring thawed the ice, but not the chill inside. I dove into classes at Harold Washington College, Lit and Psych, devouring Baldwin and Woolf like antidotes. Nathan supported, quiet, but I caught him staring at the horizon sometimes, phone in hand, debating calls to his ex. Some architect who'd bailed when the closet got too tight. Old habits, he'd shrug, but doubt wormed in. Betrayal brewed subtle. One April evening, rain lashing again, I came home early from a study group. The condo hummed empty, or so I thought. Voices from the study. Nathan's low murmur. Another man's laugh. Familiar, edged. I froze in the hall, shadow long. Pushed the door ajar. Nathan at his desk, sleeves rolled, leaning close to Mark, his partner from the firm, blonde, built like a surfer, hand on Nathan's knee under the pretense of blueprints. Come on, Nate. Mark cooed, voice syrup. One night. For old times. Alex doesn't have to know. The world hollowed. Nathan pulled back, but slow, conflicted. Can't. Won't. But his eyes, guilty, tempted, flayed me. I backed out silent, heart a lead weight, fleeing to the balcony where wind-whipped tears dry. Confrontation hit at dawn, coffee cold between us. Saw you, I said, voice steady as I could muster. With Mark. Last night. Nathan paled, hands raking hair. Nothing happened. God. Alex. Nothing. But the lie hung not in the act but the almost. He's persistent. Flirts like it's sport. But I shut it down. Swear. Why didn't you tell me? Hurt cracked through, raw. After John, the motel. You know what secrets do. He reached, but I flinched. Because I didn't want to burden you. You're healing, I'm. He trailed, eyes dropping. Scared. Of losing this. Us. The fight stretched days. Silent dinners. Separate beds. The penthouse echoing vast. I crashed at a classmate's, drowning in texts from Nathan. Please. Talk. John, too. Somehow got wind, voicemail slurring. Told you, boy. Men like him chew and spit. I deleted, blocked, but poison seeped. Climax brewed in May. Lilacs blooming defiant outside. Nathan planned a surprise. Weekend in Saugatuck. Dunes and dunes. Escape. I relented. Packed light. The drive north a tentative bridge. We walked beaches at sunset. Waves licking toes. His arm tentative around me. I love you, he said again. Sand shifting underfoot. No one else. Ever. That night. In the beach house with salt air and candle flicker. We reclaimed. Slow. Reverent. Bodies whispering forgiveness. Stay. He begged after, as stars wheeled overhead. Build with me. But morning brought the storm. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. A photo. Nathan and Mark. Lips brushing in what looked like an elevator. Timestamp last week. Anonymous text. Know the truth. Rage boiled. I confronted him on the porch, waves crashing accusation. This? From your nothing? He stared, gutted. Photoshop. Some jealous shit from the office. But doubt festered. We drove back silent, Chicago's towers mocking. Digging confirmed it. Hacked the sender. John's burner phone. Pilfered from rehab contacts. A final twist of the knife, his love a surveillance of sabotage. Cops again, this time with evidence, harassment charges stacking. John folded in interrogation. Sobbing. Just wanted my boy back. Thought he was ruining you. Ruining. The word echoed as I sat with Nathan in the station waiting room. His hand in mine. Steady now. He's gone, Nathan said. For good. Restraining, jail time if he violates. Summer returned, humid and healing. We therapy doubled, couple sessions unpacking trust's fragile weave. Nathan quit the firm, started his own consultancy, free of Mark's orbit. I graduated with honors, landed a junior analyst gig downtown, suit sharp, stride sure. One August Eve, rooftop party at our new place. Smaller, cozier, in Lincoln Park, friends toasting us under string lights. Laughter bubbled, genuine. As Nathan pulled me aside, eyes soft. Forever changed, huh? He grinned, referencing the night that started it all. I kissed him deep, fireworks popping distant over the lake. For the better, every scar. John wrote once from county lockup, apology scrawled shaky. I was wrong. Proud of you, son. Be happy. I burned it, ashes to wind, but kept the humanity. Broken men can mend, if they choose. Our story, not fairy tale but real, dense and all. Love, the hard-won kind, that stares down betrayal and says, still here. Fall painted the city in fire. Maples blazing along Lakeshore Drive. The air crisp with promise of change. Nathan and I settled into a rhythm, the kind that feels earned, like climbing a mountain and finding the view worth the bruises. Morning started with his coffee ritual. Dark roast from Intelligentsia. Black for him, splash of oat milk for me. Poring over the sun times at the breakfast bar, feet tangled under stools. He'd tease me about my latest psych obsession, Freud versus modern queers, and I'd fire back with real estate jabs. Another flip for the flippers? Save some charm for the rest of us. Workdays blurred into ambition. My desk at the analyst firm overlooked the loop, spreadsheets a canvas for the control I'd craved. Nathan's consultancy boomed, eco-friendly rehabs in Pilsen, drawing clients who cared about more than profit margins. Evenings, we'd cook tag team, him searing salmon, me chopping kale with theatrical flair, wine flowing easy. Bed was sanctuary. Lazy Sundays tangled in 600 thread count. His fingers tracing the faded scar on my rib from John's last rage, lips following like absolution. But scars itch. Mine surfaced in quiet moments like the night we hosted game night. Friends from my college circle, Nathan's old army pal visiting from Texas. Cards slapped tables, laughter roaring over IPAs. But when the vet, a burly guy named Reyes, clapped Nathan's back too hard, reminiscing Nam yarns, something twisted in me. Watch it? I muttered half-joke, pulling Nathan closer on the couch. Reyes raised brows. Good-natured, easy tiger, just brother stuff. Later, alone, Nathan confronted Gentle in the kitchen, suds from dishes bubbling. Jealous. Amusement laced his tone, but eyes searched. Of what? Ghosts. I shrugged, drying a plate too hard, ceramic clinking protest. Just John's echo, always waiting to claim. He set the sponge down, pulled me into sudsy arms. He can't. We're ironclad. Kiss deep, soapy hands roaming, backing me against the fridge magnets clattering like applause. We made love right there, urgent and affirming, the city humming approval beyond the windows. Still doubts a persistent weed. October brought John's hearing, violation of probation, the texts and photo a felony bridge too far. Nathan insisted we go. Closures a witness stand away. The courthouse in Daly Center loomed granite cold. Fluorescent halls buzzing with regret. John shuffled in cuffs, shackled ankles scraping tile, face hollowed by months inside, gray stubble, eyes sunken like bad debts. He didn't look at us, not at first. Pleaded guilty, voice monotone as the judge droned terms. 2 years, mandatory counseling, no contact. Then, as they let him out, his gaze snagged mine. Not rage, but ruin. Alex, he rasped, chain rattling. Forgive. The word hung, a hook in my throat. Nathan's hand tightened on mine, anchor. I nodded once, small, not absolution, but release. For me. Outside, wind gusted off the Picasso sculpture, Nathan wrapping his scarf around me. Proud of you, he murmured, hailing a cab. That night, we celebrated quiet. Steak at Gibson's corner booth, his foot nudging mine under linen. To us, he toasted, glass chiming. Unbreakable. Winter holidays tested that. Nathan's family flew in, sister Elena, her wife Sophia, their toddler a tornado of curls and demands. Christmas Eve, tree twinkling in the living room. Elena pulled me aside amid wrapping paper carnage. He talks about you nonstop, like you're the missing piece. Her hug smelled of cinnamon and acceptance, thawing something in my chest. But John's absence gnawed, a void where forced traditions once sat. His lopsided turkey grumbled carols. I dreamed him that night, motel rain pounding, his voice pleading. My boy, woke gasping, Nathan stirring. Bad one. He pulled me close, heartbeat steady drum. Yeah, missed the fight, maybe. Truth bitter. Hate's easier than pity. New Year dawned fresh, resolutions scribbled on napkins. Travel, more date nights, a dog maybe. A rescue mutt to fill the quiet. We adopted Buster mid-January, a scruffy terrier mix with one ear floppy, who claimed the couch as throne. Walks in Washington Park became ritual, Buster tugging leash, us hand in hand, breath fogging like secrets shared. Spring bloomed betrayal's shadow, though. Nathan's consultancy hit a snag. Client balked on a deal, fingers pointing at creative accounting. Whispers in boardrooms. Embezzlement rumors, Mark's hand suspected, grudge festering. Nathan came home late, tie askew, scotch on his breath. It's bullshit, he snapped when I pressed, pacing the hardwood. Mark's stirring shit to tank me. I believed him, mostly saw the emails the lawyer consults, but trust phrase at edges. One night, phone buzzed on the nightstand, Mark's name flashing. Nathan snatched it, silencing quick, but not before I glimpsed the preview. Remember Saigon? We could work, he lied, sliding it away. I turned over, back a wall, sleep elusive. Confrontation simmered to boil in April showers. I tailed him one lunch, irrational, but John's paranoia had schooled me in surveillance. Found him at a cafe in River North, Mark across the bistro table, hands gesturing animated, too close. No kiss, no touch, but the lean in, the laugh, intimate, exclusive. I fled before spotted, gut churning. Home. I waited, Buster sensing storm, whining at my feet. Nathan breezed in, kisses automatic. Missed you. But I pulled back, photo printed from my hack, the cafe snap I'd taken blurry but damning. Missed Mark more, looks like, voice steel but cracking. He deflated, sinking to the stool. Meetings. He's pushing for reconciliation, business. Alex. The rumors are killing deals. And the texts. Remember Saigon? I flung it, words weapons. His face crumpled. Flirtation. Old flame crap. But I shut it down. Every time. Tears welled, rare vulnerability. You're it. Only. We argued fierce. Accusations flying like hail, Buster hiding under the bed. After everything, I yelled, You let him in our space? Nathan countered, You're projecting John, seeing monsters where there are memos. Truth stung both sides. We collapsed exhausted. Him on the couch. Me in bed, dawn creeping guilty. Morning brought coffee truce, his apology handwritten. I fucked up. Transparency from here. Phone open, always. It worked, fragile peace. May faded tensions. We vacationed in Provincetown. Cape Cod's queer haven. Beaches thrumming with pride flags and drag brunches. Hand in hand on the pier, seals barking below. Nathan whispered plans. Adoption seminars. A bigger place up north. Family, real one. Back in Chicago, summer sizzled. John's release loomed, early parole, good behavior ironic. A letter arrived, forwarded. Out in July. Won't bother. But if you need, Dad's here. I crumpled it but kept the ache, humanity's messy hook. Climax cracked open at our anniversary. The motel night's twisted gift turned 1 year strong. Nathan booked the Blue Heron, irony bold, renovated now under new owners. Clean lines, boutique vibe. Reclaim it, he said, checking in, keycard gleaming. Room 12, same number, but transformed, crisp whites, rainfall shower humming. We arrived dusk, rain pattering nostalgic. Dinner in. Lobster rolls from a food truck, eaten cross-legged on the bed, laughing over spilled aioli. To bad beginnings, he toasted with Prosecco. Love-making was worship. Slow, candlelit, his body a map I'd memorized. every freckle a landmark. Forever, he gasped, climax crashing like waves. But midnight brought the knock. Insistent, thunderous. John soaked, eyes wild. Knew you'd be here. Sentimental fools. How? Paroled that week, tracked via some PI hack. Desperation's last play. He burst in, bottle in fist, not bourbon but intent clear. Gonna end this farce. Lunged at Nathan, swing wild. I tackled, glass shattering, shards biting palms. Nathan joined, wrestling John to carpet, knee and back. Call 911, he barked. Sirens wailed soon. John cuffed again. Defeated sob. Just. Lonely, son. Empty house. Cops hauled him, violation sealed. We sat amid glass. Bleeding hands bandaged by paramedics. Rain easing to mist. It's over, Nathan said, holding me tight. Truly. Summer healed slow. John's trial, aggravated stalking, landed 5 years. No parole. His last words in court. Love you, Alex. Sorry. I met his eyes, nodded, forgiven, not forgotten. Nathan and I emerged scarred but whole. Love a forge tempering us stronger. Walks with Buster. Sunsets from the balcony. Whispers of more. Kids, travels, tomorrows. Changed forever? Damn right. For the light. Autumn winds whispered secrets through the canyons of high rises, carrying leaves like confetti from a parade long past. With John locked away for good, the air felt lighter, unburdened, as if Chicago itself exhaled in relief. Nathan and I leaned into the quiet, filling it with the small rebellions of normalcy. Weekend farmers markets in Logan Square, haggling over heirloom tomatoes. Movie nights at the music box, his arms slung casual over my seat, popcorn shared like communion. Buster grew into his role as furry therapist, tail thumping approval at our every return, oblivious to the wars we'd waged. But normalcy's a sly beast, it lulls, then tests. Nathan's consultancy stabilized, new clients rolling in like waves. A non-profit rehab in Bronzeville. Green builds that married profit with purpose. He glowed in meetings, sleeves rolled, passion igniting boardrooms. I watched, proud, my own career ascending. Promoted to lead analyst, crunching data for urban renewal projects. The irony not lost. Rebuilding what broken homes tear down. Yet undercurrents stirred. Nathan's ex, the architect David, not Mark, surfaced via a mutual friend at a gallery opening in the West Loop. He's in town, Nathan mentioned offhand over Thai takeout, eyes on his pad CEW. Wants coffee. Closure chat. Jealousy flickered, unbidden. Not fiery like before, but a dull coal. Need me there? I asked, chopsticks pausing. He smiled, soft. Nah, ancient history, but thanks. Kissed my temple, distracting with spicy noodles. I nodded, trusted, mostly. But sleep evaded that night, mind spinning reels of what-ifs. David's name echoed John's manipulations. A reminder. Love's not ownership, but vulnerability invites thieves. The coffee turned lunch, extended by traffic. Texts pinged, running late. Spill? His reply, just venting old crap. Home soon. Love you. I paced the condo, Buster trailing anxious, until keys jangled 3 hours past. Nathan breezed in, cheeks flushed. Not guilt, I told myself, but wine? David's engaged, he announced, hanging his coat. To a prof in Boston. Congrats all around. Relief washed, but questions lingered unspoken. We made love that night, fervent. His body erasing doubts with every thrust, every gasp of my name. Only you, he affirmed after, fingers laced in mine. City lights painting us silver. Winter blanketed the lake in ice. Holidays a warmer echo. Elena's family visited again. Toddler now chattering demands for Uncle OX. We baked gingerbread, house smelling of cloves and chaos. Nathan hoisting the kid on shoulders while I snapped photos. Moments I'd once thought impossible. Sophia pulled me into the kitchen amid flour dust. You're good for him. He was adrift before. Her words anchored, but John's shadow lengthened with spring. A letter smuggled via his public defender. Counseling's kicking my ass. Learning about my own shit, the war, your mom leaving. Wish I could undo. Right back? I stared at the page, handwriting shaky as his resolve. Buster nosing my knee for comfort. Nathan found me there, paper trembling. Burn it, he advised, but gentle. Or answer. Your call. I answered, brief, boundaries firm. Glad you're working it. Stay that way. No visits. Mailed it and signed, a thread extended, not a rope. Betrayal's next guise wore a client's face. Nathan's big project. A mixed use in Uptown. Hit snags. Zoning board delays. Whispers of kickbacks. Turns out, a rival firm, Mark's new gig. Leaked docs. Twisting numbers to suggest fraud. Headlines splashed. Queer power couple's empire crumbles? Tabloid trash, but it stung. Reporters at our door, phones ringing relentless. Nathan shut down, holing in the study. Scotch his companion. It's sabotage, he growled one night, ice clinking. Mark's revenge porn for deals. I rubbed his shoulders, knots like rebar. Fight it. Lawyers, PR spin. But he shrugged me off, rare rejection. Easy for you. Your world's clean. Hurt flared. Clean? After John. You think I don't bleed for this too? Stormed out, crashing at Elena's hotel. Sisterly whine and rants till dawn. Reconciliation came sheepish. Him at my office lobby. Roses wilting in apology. Eyes red-rimmed. I lashed, scared of losing the dream. We talked raw, therapy couch style, right there amid suited commuters. Team, I reminded. Always. Summer scorched, trials by fire. The scandal cleared. Audit proving innocence. Mark slapped with defamation suit settling quiet. Nathan emerged fiercer, pivoting to advocacy. Pro bono for LGBTQ plus housing co-ops. I joined, volunteering weekends, hammering nails beside him in Englewood builds, sweat mixing with purpose. Climax brewed in August heat, humidity thick as unresolved sins. John's parole hearing, early release petition, citing rehab progress. Notification arrived certified, demanding our input. Nathan fumed. Hell no. But I wavered, counselor's voice echoing. Humanity means second chances, if earned. We testified together, him stern, facts bullet-pointed, violations, threats. Me softer, he's trying, but trust's earned slow. Judge denied 6 more months. John's reaction via letter. Understood. Keep shining, sun. Relief mingled guilt. That night, Nathan and I escaped to the dunes again. Saugatuck cabin, fireflies dancing. Lake Michigan lapped gentle, stars a canopy. You're too good, he murmured. Sand in our hair, bodies entwined under blanket. Forgiving where I can't. Balance, I whispered, hand on his heart. You teach me strength. Fall deep in bonds. Adoption classes started. Foster to adopt track. Paperwork a mountain of hope. Home visits, interviews. Why us? The social worker probed. Nathan, because love isn't given, it's built. Me, from ruins even. Winter wonderland followed. First snow, Buster romping virgin drifts. Holidays amplified. Tree trimming party. Friends crowding our space with cheer. But mid-January, crack appeared. Nathan's cough, persistent, dismissed as flu. Doctor's visit shattered. Pneumonia, but underlying, HIV, late stage, undiagnosed from NOM-era exposures. Dormant till stress cracked the dam. Manageable, Doc said. Antiretroviral scripted. But fear gripped ghosts of lost loves, AZT horrors. Nathan broke in the exam room, shoulders shaking. Didn't know. Should've. Stop. I held him, fierce. We fight. Together. Months blurred. Meds, specialists, good days, lake walks, Buster's joy, and bad. Nights fevered. My vigil. Betrayal? His body's not willful, but ache echoed John's forces. Unseen enemies claiming ground. Spring bloomed resilient. Viral load dropped. Nathan's color returned. We renewed vows quiet. Rooftop, Elena officiating. Rings exchanged anew. In sickness, he vowed, voice steady. John's release coincided, supervised. Halfway house in the suburbs. A call. First contact. Heard about Nathan. Prayers. Gruff, genuine. I thanked him, hung up lighter. Summer sealed healing. Clinic clear, undetectable. Nathan's consultancy thrived, our foster match. A shy 11-year-old named Riley. Bounced foster system, eyes wary but warming. First family dinner. Pasta, awkward laughs, Buster under table begging. Climax? Not drama, but quiet thunder. Riley's question, bedtime story paused. You guys, like dads? For real? Nathan's glance met mine, tears brimming. For real, kid. Forever. Changed? Infinitely. Love's alchemy turns lead to gold, one scar at a time. The years folded like origami, each crease a lesson etched deeper. Riley settled in fits and starts, nightmares from old placements pulling him from sleep. My rocking him in the dim hall while Nathan brewed chamomile, whispering tales of safer shores. He was wiry, all knees and elbows, with a mop of auburn curls and eyes that saw too much, too soon. School bus drops became our morning ritual. Nathan waving from the stoop, me packing lunches with notes. You're a rock star. Love, Daddy. The word dad tripped at first, tentative, but stuck like burrs, warming the hollows John had carved. Buster adopted Riley instant. Shadow at heels, toy tug-of-wars forging bond. Family therapy wove us tighter. Sessions in a sunlit office off Halstead, unpacking Riley's trust fractures alongside our own. Boundaries aren't walls, the counselor urged, but gardens, fenced but blooming. Nathan absorbed it like scripture, his hand always finding mine under the box of tissues. John's reintegration ghosted peripheral. Monthly check-ins via phone, his voice gravel-soft, recounting AA meetings and a job stocking shelves at Home Depot. Missed the holidays, he'd admit once, post-Thanksgiving, turkey dry in my memory, but proud. Of all ya. I shared snippets. Riley's soccer goal, Nathan's latest build opening a shelter for queer youth. No visits, but the bridge held, fragile spun glass. Summer 28 brought heat waves and heartaches. Nathan's health stabilized, but side effects nipped. Fatigue shadowing his stride, meds a daily rattle in his pocket. We adapted. Yoga mornings in the park, green juices blending kale and hope. Riley noticed, small hands slipping into Nathan's during walks. You okay, Pop? Pop. Nathan's eyes misted every time. Betrayal's echo resurfaced sly. An old client, burned by the scandal, sued for misrepresentation. Frivolous, but dragging. Court dates clashed with Riley's school play, me shuttling solo, Nathan testifying crisp in suits. It's harassment, he vented post-hearing. Tie yanked loose in the car. Wearing me thin. I drove, hand on his thigh. Lean on us. We've got this. Dinner that night. Riley's rehearsed lines over mac and cheese. Laughter a bomb. Fall crisped edges. Riley's first crush. A classmate, Jamie, freckled and fearless. Sparked awkward talks. Liking boys? Or girls? Both. Nathan fielded easy, drawing from his closet days. Whoever lights your fire, kid, just be brave. I watched, chest tight, mirroring my own unspoken youth. John's venom a distant thunder. Climax crested Thanksgiving. Winds howling off the lake like omens. John petitioned contact. Supervised visit. Family healing cited. Nathan balked. Risky. Riley, overhearing, piped curious. Grandpa John? The mean one. We explained gentle, truths portioned for tender ears. Riley mulled. Then, can we meet? See if he's changed. The visit was neutral ground. Park bench in Humboldt, leaves crunching gold. John arrived early, in chinos pressed stiff, hands fidgeting a paper bag of store-bought pie. Older, shrunken somehow, eyes skittish meeting Riley's. Hey, champ. Voice quaver. Riley hung back, me buffer. Nathan vigilant nearby. Questions tumbled. School. Buster antics. John answering halting. Glimpses of warmth piercing crust. Used to fix cars with your dad. Taught him wrenches. A smile, genuine, cracked his face. No hugs, but handshakes firm. As we parted, John pulled me aside, voice low. He spit of you. Good job, son. Tears tracked his cheeks, unashamed. In the car, Riley declared, kinda nice. Weird, but nice. Nathan exhaled, tension uncoiling. Humanity wins, he murmured, squeezing my knee. Winter wrapped gifts unexpected. Nathan's checkup. Viral load nil. Doc's greenlighting expansion. Foster another? Riley lobbied fierce for a sister. Visions of braids and tea parties. We applied. Nerves electric. Spring 29 bloomed, betrayal's final twist. Mark resurfaced. Email to Nathan. Apology tour. Coffee proposed. Ignore, I urged, but curiosity gnawed. Nathan went, transparent. Texted updates, home an hour. Slimy as ever, he reported. But owned the sabotage. Therapy's his spin. Forgiveness? Not mine to grant, but Nathan's closure sealed it. Done haunting, he said, deleting the thread. Summer solstice, we expanded. Mia, 5, braids indeed. Arrived with a stuffed bear and wary squint. Riley big-brothered instant, showing her Buster's belly rub spot. Nights lengthened with lullabies. Nathan's baritone crooning, somewhere over the rainbow. My harmony off-key but earnest. Climax quieted to crescendo. Our 10th anniversary. From that rain-lashed motel night, Nathan planned epic. Hot air balloon over Michigan dunes at dawn. Riley and Mia bundled below with Elena's crew, cheering tinny via walkie. Basket swayed gentle, burner roaring, sun cresting gold. Nathan pulled me close, wind whipping. Forever changed, he yelled over gusts, ring glinting. Matching hours, Riley's craft idea. Best plot twist. Tears streamed, horizon endless. Below, family waved, tiny flags of love. John's arc closed gentle. A Father's Day card. Pie recipe enclosed. For the kids. We baked it lopsided. Mia giggling flour dusted. Riley declaring it grandpa approved. Years stacked like bricks. Riley's prom. Data they slashed them artist. Corsage wilted perfect. Mia's recitals. Tiny dancer. All twirls. Nathan's consultancy morphed nonprofit. Housing hundreds. Mine climbed to director. Policies shifting for foster queer kids. Betrayal's faded sepia. John's a cautionary chapter. Mark's footnote. Love, the through line, dramatic in dailies. Nathan's hand in mine at parent-teacher nights. Our laughter echoing kitchen chaos. Humanistic end? No tidy bow but open sky. We chose grace over grudges, growth over ghosts. Changed forever, yes. Grateful for the forge. In the end, as Nathan and I watched sunsets from the porch of our Wicker Park Victorian. Bought with sweat and savings, garden bursting volunteer. Riley and Mia romping grass, Buster gray-muzzled chasing shadows. I knew. The night that broke me remade us all. Not despite the force, but through it. American dream queered and claimed.